lights. I've got a brand new office chair, so it actually means I can put my elbows up like this, and I'm very, very comfortable. It's actually a massage chair because I'm spending more time working in the office now. I want to protect my back, I want to protect a lot of things. If you're interested in ordering the chair, it's a Blisswood, and I will put my Amazon affiliate link in the comment section below so you can go and check that out. Shameless plug done right at the beginning. Another really cool plug. Did you enjoy the video right at the beginning of the show? I thought that was brilliant. It was one that I caught on TikTok this past week, and it just made me laugh so much to imagine what it would be like in a world where Joe Biden and Donald Trump came together, they shook hands, they were hanging out together. Wait a second, that actually happened. Just don't go away.
Former President, thank you, Donald, congratulations. Thank you very much. And looking forward to having a, like we said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So good. Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Joe.
You're welcome.
I mean, what a wonderful thing. Whether or not it's just for the cameras, the fact that you could have those two sitting down together after what they have been through, to shake hands, to enjoy each other's company, to, be respectful at least publicly, even inside. If Joe's saying, oh, I hate this guy, even if Donald's saying inside, I despise this guy, whatever. The amazing thing is they have been able to sit down and put their differences aside and recognize the public have spoken. They don't want Kamala Harris. They don't want the Biden administration. You're going to see a lot of videos today, folks. There's a lot of upset people still in the world, and it gets more and more and more crazy as time goes on. A lot of really crazy things, such as let's just pull up some of the stuff that we're talking about here when we're looking at the disgusting stuff that... Oh, wait, hang on. We haven't got the video, apparently. We haven't got the video. Can we get the video uploaded that we're looking for? So what happens when it's live, folks? When it's live, anything can happen. So people are still really, really upset, obviously, as to what's going on. And one of the people that was really, really upset is displaying such behaviors as what we're about to see. We're on air, we're live, we're basically talking about this, but people are upset. Well, so like to say, here we go. I mean, I don't know about you. I saw that and I was absolutely disgusted as to somebody's behavior like that, especially shouting and screaming at a young child. Now, you ask, what the heck does that do from a psychological perspective? Well, from a psychological perspective, the girl knows what's going on. That is major trauma that is happening for her. There's no excuse. There's no denial about that. There is major trauma that's going on. And obviously the parents and the security acted in the best way they possibly could. But this is the kind of insanity that people are willing to go to. We're going to see a video as well momentarily of more insanity. But I wanted to share this little clip with you right now, if we've got it sort of zoned up, and it kind of sets the tone for this entire conversation, because when people are asked, why did you vote for Kamala Harris? Oftentimes they can't find an answer, or the answer that they provide is, well, not based on opinion, or not based on fact, but more so on opinion, and slightly concerning, shall we say.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
Why are you voting for Kamala?
Because Trump fucking sucks, because she's trying to make the world a lot cheaper to live in. The amount of money that costs to just do anything keeps increasing so much.
So do you think that's Biden and Kamala's fault?
I think that's always been happening. How much things have cost has always been increasing.
So you think Kamala's going to fix it even though she's already been VP for 4 years?
What did Trump do?
I think he fixed it.
Did he?
Yeah, I think the economy was way better. Houses were cheaper, rent was cheaper, grocery prices were cheaper. What is Kamala's greatest achievement as VP?
I literally don't know. I have no idea.
You don't know anything she's done?
No, I don't.
But she's still the better choice?
Yes, because I know a lot of things that he has done.
You know a lot of things about Trump that are negative?
Yeah. He's racist. He's sexist.
Okay, well, what has he done that's racist?
specifically, I don't watch anything with Trump in it. I just see like clips. I don't watch things politically.
So you
Okay, wait, just stop there. Okay, so she's saying he's racist, he's this, he's that. She doesn't like him, but she doesn't watch anything politically. She doesn't know really what he's done. So she's listened to opinions from social media influencers, from celebrities, and from the media, but more so from TikTok, to basically inform her entire life, her entire mindset. Very, very narrow-minded, if you ask me, and highly, highly stupid. There's just not enough words for my outrage, really, on how stupid that came out as. But that was the problem for a lot of people. They were saying, you know, well, Kamala Harris, you know, she's made things more expensive. She's done this, she's done that. You know, it's getting more expensive. Well, hang on a second. They've been in office for 4 years. Okay, they've been in office for 4 years, and things weren't getting any better. Do you think they're going to get any better? Here's the thing, folks. You can actually predict the future. This is a really cool thing about human beings. It's called a trajectory, okay? So psychologically, we look at the term trajectory. Now, what that means is if you are behaving in a certain way now and you don't behave in a different way, there's nothing that comes along to interrupt your patterns, your thoughts, and things like that. You will continue to behave that way, and it will get worse and worse and worse, or better and better and better. It depends what you are shooting for. If you are constantly focused on that which you choose to become and you desire to become, then you are going to achieve it. If that is something to the negative, you're going to get the negative consequence. If it's something to the positive, you will get the positive consequence. So you listen to what that girl had to say, and she can't figure out herself, as it seems to be, unfortunately, with this entire leftist culture. We've now had two examples. One, obviously, if you're just joining us, folks, we've seen basically a woman screaming at a toddler and a young girl who basically is basing her opinion all on TikTok. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy that people in this day and age would actually just base their lives on that. You have to do your research, folks. You have to get into the nitty gritty. You have to do the conversations. You have to do the research. We've got some things that we've uncovered recently that are really concerning with regards to Kamala Harris, and we're going to talk about that later on in the show. We've got another clip here. This is the one that was actually looking for. Of another anti-Trump supporter. Now, forgive the language in this following video, folks. We tend to be a PG show here, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to edit it in time. But this shows you the level of lunacy, as we've seen that some of the leftist culture are willing to go to. Just check this out. This girl is shaving her head to protest Trump's election and to fight the patriarchy. Does she know that Joe Biden's the guy? Well, so I'm sure that Looney Libs, okay, is you know, high up there on Donald Trump's sort of mailing list right now, and he's saying, you know what? She's protesting my inauguration. She's protesting my presidency. Maybe I should step aside. Maybe I should put aside, you know, children's rights and abortion. Maybe I should put aside, you know, the ideas and the ideologies that I've got and traditional cause and values and stuff. Maybe I should just put all that aside and yeah, like heck she is, or like heck he is. It's got me so frustrated I can't tell if he's a man or a woman. But do you really think that Donald Trump is that interested about someone, you know, shaving their head? Do you really think that anybody really cares? This is the level of insanity that we are going to. Let's keep going, shall we? Let's keep going, because this is just incredible. Because leftist, you know, woke culture, as someone that actually tried to sit there for many years and defend and try and understand what it is that you're doing, I'm out of excuses. I literally am out of excuses for you. Before I could understand why, you know, you viewed things in the way that you did, but now with somebody shaving their head, with someone shouting at a child, with someone basing opinion as fact, but not having any real opinions at all, you know, well, are you voting for Trump or are you voting for Harris? Well, I'm voting for Harris because I really don't like Donald Trump. You know, I don't know why I don't like him. I heard that he's a racist at one time. I heard that he was a racist. You know, I heard he was a really terrible person. He was just absolutely horrible. And you're sitting there thinking, okay, what are you basing this upon? What is this basis that you, oh, because you heard it in the media, and everything that you hear in the media is true, is it? Interesting. Take a look at this next clip, and then we'll move on from this topic, because I don't want to spend all of today's show. I want you to leave here with something worthwhile, but take a look at this.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
And how come?
Because she's not a bigot.
So does that mean that Trump's a bigot?
Yeah, and he's kind of an asshole. And he's just not at all about women's rights, or really anybody's rights except cis white men. We're not really cis white men. And
So he's for me?
Yeah, he's for you. Which, I mean, at least he's for somebody. But he needs to be for everybody.
Are there any things that you like about Kamala? Because you mentioned a lot of things you dislike about Trump, but are there any things you like about Kamala?
I like how she is for women's rights and gay rights, and she is very active in the queer community, which is very important to us.
And what does she do in the LGBTQ community? Like, what are some things she does?
I would say that she promotes rights, she talks about people, and she talks about the community. She spreads awareness, which Trump does none of.
What are some things that Trump did that make you think he's bigoted?
For starters, I mean, would you want anybody making decisions about your body without your permission, like he's doing for women's rights, putting bans on abortion, not letting us make our own choices about our body, what happens to us?
He actually just brought it back to the states so that the states can vote on it. He actually doesn't have an opinion on it, really. He just brought it back to the states to where the states can vote on whether they want to have it in their state.
Okay. Yes, there is that.
Okay, and so that's your number one issue. That's the biggest reason as to why you're voting for Kamala.
Abortion, LGBTQIA safety.
LGBTQIA. There's another letter that's been added to this. I got stuck when it was LGBTQ or LGBT. I could just about remember four letters. Is this community aware, just to put this out there, that human beings can only hold sort of a maximum of 7 things in their head at once? You talk about this with phone numbers. People can hold sort of phone numbers in their head, and they associate by patterns. But to start adding more and more labels, and we've got to remember the flags, we've got to remember what we can say and what we can't say. It just gets to the point where you're like, how is anybody, even in the community, meant to thrive and succeed in that environment? Really? So there was a number of things that I put out of this, and you can tell I'm passionate. I'm energized today, folks. I've got new lighting. I've got a new seat. Everything's looking good. We're passionate and we're energized about this. So, dear. First of all, what I'm. Oh, hello. What the heck happened there? We just had an explosion of light that just went on there. So. Let's try. I have no idea what happened here, folks. We just had, there we go. Wow, that was a major technical issue. Yes, we have got a green screen behind us, you can see. As soon as I said that, I think God had a funny game there. He was just like, you know what? We're just going to make it a little bit of fun. Right, let's get back to the show, shall we, before anything else happens. So, the girl there had said very, very openly that, Kamala Harris is passionate about LGBTQI. First of all, what I'm discovering about certain communities is they vote based on what is best and right for them. They don't necessarily vote for what's best for the community as a whole. They're looking at it from the point of view of, how does this benefit me? And I think a lot of people do that. But they're looking at it from, okay, well, let's see how this benefits LGBTQI. How does this benefit people that are having abortions? How does this benefit people, that they're looking for immigration? They're looking, I'm trying to remember some of the other specific things because I haven't got notes in front of me today. But they're looking for what is best for them. Right. Okay. What about what's best for not only them, not only their communities, but now, as we are seeing, what's best for the entire world? What's best for the entire population? Because that is what was going on. What happened in the United States was going to have a massive effect on what happened here in the UK. The UK was becoming a third world nation, okay? This is what a lot of people don't know. It was becoming a third world nation to the point that people, as we can see, were even being arrested for quietly praying on the streets outside abortion centers. Now, I've got a lot to say about that later on. But when you see and hear these things happening, folks, it's not just about you, okay? It's not just about you. This was a major, major vote. It really was, that was going to dictate and change a lot. Okay, if you want to go for the LGBTQI woke culture stuff, As I said, Canada will welcome you. They absolutely will welcome you. But the thing that was concerning for me was we were going to lose Christmas. We were going to lose values. We were going to lose morals and ethics and standards. More drag queens were going to be allowed into school. And they have the audacity to say, well, why is that a bad thing? Why is it a good thing? Seriously. So let's go forward. Okay, so Kamala Harris raises awareness and she promotes rights. She talks about people. Okay. Podcasts talk about people. Podcasts raise awareness. Podcasts promote rights. What was she specifically doing? Now, did you notice the phraseology when she said, she's very active in our community, which we appreciate. And then she was asked, well, what is it that she actually does? And she said, I would say that she, well, hang on a second. No, if you know that she is active in your community and you should know exactly what she's doing in your community. Oh, wait, perhaps you don't know what she's doing in your community. Bans on abortion. Okay, so as we saw there, she was misinformed because Trump has put it back into the hands of the states. Each individual state, which is what it was before, they have their own law with regards to abortion. Furthering on from that, she'd said that, that it's terrible that he's banned abortion everywhere. No, he didn't. That was never his policy. But what he is doing is looking at putting a cap on top of it so you can't do full-term abortions. When she said as well, oh, well, how would you like to be told? How would you like to be told, sugar? Just how to deal with your own body. Guess what, sweetheart? It isn't only your body. There's a fact for you. It's a child that's full term. It's a baby. It's a heartbeat. A baby's heartbeat, a fetus's heartbeat begins 6 weeks after conception. That is scientifically, biblically, spiritually, morally, and ethically wrong in every other sense if a child is murdered after that. If you really don't know, and again, why would you? Because you haven't done the research, as I've painstakingly done since 2017 over this topic, and as we covered in last week's show, I had people in the church directly, blatantly to my face lie to me and tell me, oh, they don't do the silent scream anymore. Oh, but how come I saw a video in Colorado where a senator was talking to a group of medical professionals and said, does this still happen or not? Yes, it does. Oh, so they're basically taking the baby out piece by piece. Now, I know we seem to cover this stuff on a lot of our show. These are the hot topics. These are the things that are going on. So it is not just your body. It's not just the baby's body. Again, if you want to go back and see the show that we did when I was speaking specifically that just under 1 million abortions happen every single year in the United States, 966,000 of them are not as a result of sexual misconduct, abuse, or rape. That means you've got 966,000 that are going forward. Now, there could be medical issues, there could be problems. But the most common thing, 57%, as 2017, when I last looked at the facts and figures, it was because they changed their mind. And you begin to start putting together a picture of the kind of people, and as a human behavioral psychologist, in training, sorry, I got carried away there. A human behavioral psychologist in training, this is the kind of thing that I'm designed to look for. We've just uploaded a great book, folks, onto YouTube. We're just about to go to commercial break, but we've just uploaded a great book onto YouTube called How to Analyze People on Sight. It was one that was written many, many years ago, but one that is still phenomenal. If you want to be able to analyze people on sight by looking at them, by just listening to them, and to know what they're about, this is a phenomenal book that's there. We'll stick a link in there as well, so as you can go and check it out and you can see. We're going to jump to commercial break, but when we're back, I got a lot more to say about this, folks, so don't go away. Well, howdy there, friends. I've got something really exciting to share with you, and it is this brand new custom cat portrait, 10 by 12 in size, and boy, does this one pack a punch. You can see there the detail on his face, the expression, the eyes, the feeling, the mode, the emotion, and so much more goes into this painting. Now, this isn't just a painting. This is a window into a memory. This is something that is going to turn your house into a home, and I'm always cognizant of that whenever I'm doing projects with clients, because you want to be looking at what's their environment like. Is it dark? Is it bright? Is it surrounded by other paintings? Is there a lot of artwork on there? Is it a limited space, or is it wide open spaces? And for everything like that, you want this painting to slot in almost as if it's unnoticeable. Well, all the time people are going to come up and they're like, oh wow, that's gorgeous, that's beautiful. It's a focal point. So it has to be almost unassuming, while at the same point like, just look at me kind of thing. And I think with this beautiful piece, that's what was able to accomplish. I thoroughly loved it. It has to be absolutely one of my favorite of 2024 because this is one of the photos and one of the paintings that artists dream of. The expression on the cat's face, the pose, the feeling, the tonality, the subject itself, the expression that's there, the expression that we're trying to convey. But more so, what I loved with this one in particular with pet portraits is I switched from acrylic paint to oil paint, and the reason being is because I feel that you can get so much of a better feel and a touch and an experience onto the fur using oil paint than you can with acrylic. If you're interested in ordering your very own custom cat portrait, dog portrait, horse portrait, rabbit portrait, guinea pig, hamster, person portrait, nature, seascape, landscape, mountscape, you name it, head to thejohnmorris.co.uk because we've just updated our website to make it as easy and simple as possible, also to load as fast as possible to give you the best possible service available. So do get in touch with us at thejohnmorris.co.uk and I'll catch you in the next video. He was a happy guy, wasn't he? I mean, he was a really handsome devil as well. You know, my goodness, what an amazing son of a gun he was. If you want to go to thejohnmorris.co.uk and check out pet portraits, landscapes, seascapes, and more, easy for me to say, then do come and check us out. We're now taking orders for 2025. Christmas orders for 2024 are now closed because we're simply just running out of time and we've got too many orders on actually to be able to cope with and everything else I've got going on. So go and check that out. Folks, we are back. And if you missed the first part of the show, we have been talking about craziness, really. That's what's been happening since Donald Trump's inauguration, or Donald Trump's, what would you say, lead up to presidency, his switchover. And we've been talking about how the left culture had really an opportunity to build, to grow, to develop, to do something phenomenal. And unfortunately, as we've seen, not blanketing everybody. I got to make that very, very clear. But I also can't deny the unequivocal evidence that's there. When people do interviews, unfortunately, this is what the representation for the leftist community is looking like right now. With people having misinformation, with people having dumb information, with people not even knowing the information, and people coming away with really, really stupid stuff. Like shaving their head in protest for Donald Trump and shouting and screaming at children. It just doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good. It isn't good at the end of the day. And how this affects people in mind, body, and soul perspective. Okay, so we get as a balancist. Now, bear in mind, folks, I keep saying this. I try to be central. I look at the good, I look at the bad from both sides of you. You know, folks, I've nothing good to say about this leftist ideologies right now and this culture. Based on what I've shown you and based on what I've seen this week, it just doesn't look good. It's like, we didn't get our way. Wow, wow, wow. That's what it looks like. And it's sad. It really is sad. And my hope is that people will show and see and hear this and actually say, well, hang on a second. Maybe he's right. Maybe we do need to represent our communities better, because maybe people would actually care more and actually be bothered about us rather than us shouting and bawling and screaming all the time. That doesn't get you anywhere. Check out this video before, and we'll move on from this topic.
The new bill that President-elect Donald Trump wants to introduce on day one. Trump claims that the bill will recognize gender as only male and female.
They are only male and female.
He also said that the bill will ban men, per his definition, from competing in women's sports.
As it should be, because at the end of the day, a man is someone with a penis, a woman is someone with a vagina that was born genetically so.
He even claims that they'll be investigating Big Pharma and others, which he doesn't specify who, but to see if they've been illegally promoting hormones and puberty blockers.
Okay, so Big Pharma, doctors, psychologists, psychotherapists, mental health professionals, nurses, etc., etc. I would say that's, and he does actually say who, so let's continue.
He even made specifications around education and children.
Yeah, because guess what? The leftist culture did that and added drag queens in Canada to do, what was it, something story time or whatever, where you could be a drag queen with horns and go on into children's schools and behave in very, very indecent ways, teaching children how to masturbate at 5 years old and having your testicles dropping out of your trousers. And all of that is factual.
His Department of Education will promote the nuclear family, and teachers who suggest that...
What the heck is a nuclear family? Is it as a family that just go boom? What Donald Trump is actually trying to do is to promote the family environment, which is something that feminism, and it's been clearly shown, it's trying to destroy. It's trying to destroy the family environment. It's trying to destroy, in certain parts of the United States, if your child runs away, they legally become the property of the state. What the heck was going on in Harris and Biden's administration? Very odd. Continue.
Children could be trapped in the wrong body, could face sexual discrimination lawsuits.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So what Donald Trump is actually saying about children that are trapped in the wrong body is not that they are forever bound and chained to be in the wrong body, but he's actually trying to work out and having his team work out who really has gender dysphoria and who doesn't. Because guess what? I can't see young lady, I'll be respectful. Young, whatever you want to be identified as, pigeon, penguin, ferret, whatever you like. I don't really mind. What he's trying to do is understand who genuinely has gender dysphoria and who doesn't. And the more concerning thing about it is why men who are mentally, and it has been men, unfortunately, men who are mentally disturbed sex addicts are having these horrendous operations with the view to raping women in gyms, in sports clubs, in sports bars, in swimming pools. Why do you think less and less people are actually wanting to go to gyms, to public? Again, it's like this was by design. This didn't happen by accident. This was never addressed, really, to my knowledge, with Biden-Harris's administration. Where is the protection? Oh, I know. Let's create a good thing that happened over here in the UK, where we'll put men inside a women's prison. And that's fine, is it? No. So, sweet mother of mercy.
Of course, he said he wanted to celebrate the roles of mothers versus fathers.
What? What's the problem with celebrating the roles of mothers versus fathers? What is the issue with that? What is the issue that she's taking with this? I don't get it. Someone tell me, please, because as far as I'm concerned, women's roles are as important as men's roles. If a woman is a homekeeper and she's taking care of the house and she's taking care of the family, that is a major, major role. And historically speaking, that is what the woman did. Equally, if she's going out to work and the man's taking care of the children, that's still phenomenal from both points of view. So I don't understand what she's griping at here. Is there anything else?
I know what that looks like in his mind.
In his mind, that's. I think it's more concerning in her mind than anything else. But moving along, folks, because I said we would. There's been some more concerning things this past week. Could there be anything more concerning than this culture that we've just been talking about? Apparently so. It has come to light, and unfortunately, it has been verified by yours truly, because I've spent the last couple of days actually verifying this, that Kamala Harris has been buying votes. Now, this was first speculated back in the original Biden-Trump race for politics, 4 years ago? And that a lot of people had said that Trump didn't actually lose, that it was all rigged, it was doctored, and there has been a lot of stuff about that. But it has come out that Kamala Harris allegedly, we'll go with allegedly, at this point in time, because I don't feel comfortable using the phrase, but it's been covered on enough programs and things that 10 million has gone to Beyonce, 5 million to Megan Thee, I think how you pronounce it, Stallion, 2.3 million to Lizzo, 1.8 million to Eminem, 1 million for Oprah. And it's been seen that she was actually buying votes. Now, not only is that illegal, that's highly concerning, the fact that that has gone on and that's happened, because then you start asking, well, is it really a democracy, or are you buying people to become influencers for you? It's not a case of, do you really support her or do you not? It's now become a case of, can I just buy you? And this next video shows some stuff that's a little bit more concerning. I personally feel, hand on heart, after doing extenuating research for the last 4 years, that the right person is in office. And from what we've seen today already, and I know this has been a bit more of a sort of a ranty episode, I think it has to be. But from what we've seen so far in today's show, it's not surprising why I think a lot of people in America are glad that Trump won, And the facts and figures are showing that. And this next video may spread a little bit more light on that. Check this out.
I'm Bruce Springsteen, and I'm here today to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
In a stunning revelation, the campaign of Vice President Kamala Harris has been exposed to be in a state of serious financial disarray, ending with a staggering $20 million in debt, according to sources familiar with the matter. This financial strain has cast a dark shadow over Harris's failed presidential bid, highlighting the reckless spending and questionable decisions that plagued her campaign. According to Politico's California bureau chief Christopher Catalago, the Harris campaign's debt surfaced in its final desperate days, as insiders pointed the finger at campaign manager Jen O'Malley Dillon's extravagant decisions. The campaign's aggressive and expensive ad strategy, including high-profile concerts featuring stars like Katy Perry, Lizzo, Eminem, and Bruce Springsteen, were intended to energize young voters but ultimately proved to be a costly misstep. Despite Harris's campaign reportedly raising over $1 billion, with $118 million still available as of mid-October, the campaign spending spiraled out of control, leaving them scrambling to address the mounting deficit. As one staffer told Breitbart News, Jen O'Malley Dillon blew through $1 billion in a few months. The record-breaking spending, however, failed to translate into electoral success. Harris's team and Democratic allies channeled around $1.4 billion into political ads, outspending Trump and his allies by nearly $460 million, according to Fox Business. Yet, this massive financial investment did not secure key swing states, but despite outspending her opponents in these crucial regions, the financial edge did not result in victory.
Okay, so you may be sitting there thinking, okay, what the heck does that mean? It means that she spent a lot of money. Now, I went and did some deep dive research, and from 3 sources, Christian Post, Megan Kelly, and Straight Arrow News, it has been verified, and it doesn't look good. I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, it's the fact that you can spend so much money. And then, of course, you're asking the question, so you've got investors, you've got fundraisers, but if you can't manage your own budget, and this has come up a number of times in Kamala Harris's sort of role and over the years, if you can't manage your own money, then how the heck are you going to manage a country's money? How are you going to, help a country? Because all they did was put up the prices up and up and up and up and up. And you start to ask the question, how on earth is it that people in this leftist culture and this leftist way of life can sit there and say, hand on heart, yep, I believe that she is the best person for the job? If my eyes had been plucked out and my nose had been hacked off and all I had was 2 ears and my ear or my brain had sort of been syringed with a hot poker so I couldn't differentiate between voices, and all I had was the facts that both Harris and Trump's administration was putting forward, I still couldn't vote for Harris. I couldn't. And I sat there for ages and ages and ages and ages. I sat there and I thought to myself, okay, right, it's going to help the LGBTQI community. What's it going to help them do? What does this mean long term? And you have to think long term, folks. This isn't just something that is going to affect, your little community one time. Great. LGBTQI reigns. Woo. Hallelujah. But what does that mean then for the rest of the world? What does that mean for our society? What does that mean for, the traditions, the values, the ways of life that have been built? What about for the old folks? What about for finances? You're complaining now that things are expensive and you can't afford things. That is a result of the Harris-Biden administration. That's the same as what's happened over here with house prices going sky high, with inflation. Yes, I know there was a lot of other mitigating factors going on, such as the war in Ukraine, such as the wars elsewhere, such as oil, such as this, such as that. But the reality is there's so much more to these things than just your little world. And it is vital that we actually are able to see this and we're actually able to respect this. The best policies are the policies that benefit everybody. And I'm not saying that Trump does benefit everybody. I'm not saying that Harris would have benefited everybody. But looking at the cold light of day, I firmly believe that Trump, believe it or not, folks, believe it or not, whether you're an abortionist, whether you're pro or woke culture. I almost said pro-life there. That's not the term that I meant, because if you're an abortionist, you're not pro-life. But if you are either one of those cultures, believe it or not, I think Donald Trump has your best interests at hand. Why? Okay, before we go to commercial break, again, I'm going to break this down very simple to you. So, because a lot of you will say, oh no, absolutely he doesn't. Just listen. Okay, please just listen. If somebody genuine has gender dysphoria and they are looking to go for a sex change or a gender change, whatever it is that you've labeled it as now, I have no idea anymore because it changes all the time, then that means you are going to go through years and years of ultimate misery. You are going to be on hormone replacement. You are going to be on all manner of drugs. You are then going to have, if you're a female, your breasts chopped, and you're going to have huge scars that are probably going to need plastic surgery. And it doesn't matter how great a plastic surgeon is, you're still going to have scars. You are then going to have a penis attached to you. And essentially, it is going to be like a rod that has a button that when you press it, it gets erect, and when you press it again, it goes floppy. To convince you in your state that you are a man. Do you spot that there could be some form of mental health issue going on here? There is. As someone who has worked in various industries, but specifically that industry for the last 15 years, I can honestly say any client that I worked with that had genuine gender dysphoria also had bipolar or anxiety or schizophrenia or multiple personality syndrome or fill in the blank. And more often than not, when we broke it down and we were actually sitting there talking, it wasn't that they wanted to become a man or a woman, but it was oftentimes if they were a woman, they looked at men and said, well, men have got it made. Men are amazing. Men are great. I feel more like a man. And I would always say, well, how do you know? How do you know what a man feels like? You've never been a man before. And they said, well, oh, wait, you can't answer that question. And I would say to the guys, it's like, tell me they're a woman. I was like, how do you know? How do you know that you're a woman? You've never been a woman a day in your life. Oh, just a feeling, As we talked about in last week's show, your feelings can manipulate you. Your feelings can delude you. Largely, your feelings are a conditioned response from the society that you surround yourself with. And the problem is you've got more people now that are going to support you in your decision than really actually pull you aside and say, what's really going on here? What's really happening? Because what scientists and therapists and psychoanalysts and psychotherapists and psychologists are understanding and discovering now is that more often than not, people that are going through these issues, as we talked about, watch last week's show. Please watch last week's show so I don't have to spend all this time just talking about it. But your brain is flip-flopping around all the time when you're a teenager. And for some people, it just doesn't settle until you're older. Sometimes you feel more masculine, sometimes you feel more feminine. Right, fine, great. But that doesn't mean then you start doing this irreparable, irreversible damage to yourself. And there are more and more people. For every single 100 people now that have these procedures done, there are so many of them that want the procedure undone. Because guess what? And it's always the question that I end with. If you're going to go through with this procedure, my question to you is what happens if it doesn't work? If you don't feel different afterwards, what happens? What then? And it's something you really have to look at versus a culture that is going to say, yeah, you be who you are, sweetheart. You go, girl. You be who you want, sister. They're not looking for your best interests. Harris was not looking for your best interest. Nicola Sturgeon over here was not looking for your best interest. Guess what they were looking for? Voters. And why were they looking at voters? The same way that the church would often look at prostitutes, alcoholics, drug addicts, because unfortunately they are vulnerable and they are easier. That when you see and you try and you want to have supporters, well, they're easy votes. They're easy votes. They don't give a you-know-what about you. Simple as that. If you didn't fit into some form of ideology, they could care less about you. And the reality is, I firmly believe that, believe it or not, that Trump, by saying we're going to limit people's access to this, but we're going to look at some form of mental health thing. We're going to stop destroying the lives of children. We're going to stop the mass extermination and abortion laws that are going on. We're going to stop this. We're going to reduce this. Things have to change. Because guess what? If it doesn't change, human beings will not survive. Simple as that. Let's go to commercial break. Helps if I click the right commercial break. Well, folks, if you are struggling with your mental health right now, we can help. At Mind, Body, and Soul, we are here to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. If you're struggling with trauma, if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or more, do get in touch with us at thejohnmorris.co.uk. We're taking on brand new clients for 2025. Places are limited, so do not delay. If you want to make 25 your year of greatness and development, then we are here to help, and you'll be working with yours truly, plus a great team of specialists as well. So do get in touch with us at thejohnmorris.co.uk, and we'll look forward to working with you. Prayer. Prayer is a really interesting thing. And it's a really interesting thing for many, many reasons, because prayer is the way that we commune with our higher self. And our higher self, or God, is meant to be sacred. It's meant to be sacred, but as we're going to see momentarily, while I fix these lights because our production team have left us on the lurch a little bit today, I was doing really well. But as our production team will say, I'm losing my trail of thought. But as you'll see in this video, folks, there's some stuff going on over here in the UK when we're talking about, can Britain be saved now that Donald Trump is in office? I hope so, but I'm not entirely certain. Check this out.
What are you here for today?
Physically, I'm just standing here. It seemed quite Orwellian, to be honest. I was just simply standing a short distance away from a closed abortion centre, saying my prayers in my head, and that was it. What happened next was quite shocking. So the police approached me and asked me what I was doing. I said that I was simply standing there, but in my head, I might be saying some prayers. So at that point, I'd only said that I might be saying some prayers, but that was enough for them to tell me that I'd broken the PSPO buffer zone and that they were going to arrest me.
It's all down to what's called public space protection orders.
MPs have given their backing to the introduction of censorship zones around abortion clinics in England and Wales.
Campaigners for and against abortion will now be forced to stand more than 100 metres away from the clinic.
What that particular law states, it's talking about protest and how protest is banned outside the abortion centre. Well, I've never protested outside abortion centres anyway. I've gone there in the past to offer help and to pray. But since the onset of the PSPO, I have only gone in and silently prayed in.
Okay, so we're going to look at this one from both points of view, as we try to do all the time and remain impartial as best I can. So the first thing is the lady. I didn't catch her name, so do forgive me for that. But she was saying about prayer, okay, and she had confessed to the police that she was praying silently outside an abortion clinic. And she said, what else am I meant to do, and all of these things. So the first thing that I would say is, why were you there? Genuinely, why were you there? If you know that there is a potential risk, if you know there is a potential threat, and you have been told, look, if you turn up outside this abortion center, there is a chance you may be arrested. Why then would you prod the beast? Now, hear me out here. It's not that I'm anti-prayer. It's not that I'm anti-Christian. It's not that I'm anti-anything. But for someone who's just gone forth and had an abortion, it is not then right, and I think this is where the major concern comes in, for somebody, whoever it may be, male or female, to potentially pose threat, potentially pose harm. Now, you could say, no, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that. That's not my intention at all. No. Police don't know that. Police are being essentially told to do what the government tells them to do. So this is coming from higher up. There have been a number of incidents before where people have gone and had abortions and then gone to leave the hospital, and it's been violent, it's been verbally violent, it's been horrific for the person going through it, for the woman going through it. So that's the first thing. It is terrible what's going on. There's no denying that. There's no getting away from that. But the reality is, it's happening. And I've said this, for years, that protests are never ever, I don't think, the way forward. Okay, if you're looking for a platform, then YouTube, Facebook, social media is probably a safer way of doing it. Maybe I'm just really old-fashioned in that, but I don't think, because what happens when you're out there protesting, especially Christians, is the world looks at you like, well, you're doing exactly what we expect you to do, rather than doing what I'm doing, which is to sit on here and hey, let's talk about it. Let's actually explore it from a faith point of view. The other thing is as well that the lady shouldn't be surprised that anything like this is happening, that she's been arrested for her faith. Scripture tells you enough that this stuff is going on, that this stuff is happening, that this way of life will come to you. So she shouldn't be surprised in any way, shape, or form. If you are standing there with your eyes closed, first of all, and you don't need to pray with your eyes closed, you can pray with your eyes open. But you are obviously praying, then in my opinion, you are obviously prodding the beast. And if a law has been passed, like it or not, that says you cannot pray within, I think it's 100 meters of abortion centers, that includes inside your house, which is a whole dumb thing that I'm going to get onto momentarily, then you have to respect the laws of the land. Jesus Christ respected the laws of the land. He challenged things. And that's the answer, is you challenge these things in court. You don't deliberately prod a beast that you know could land you in prison because you're deliberately being defiant. And you say, well, am I defiant to God? Am I defiant? Why is it being defiant to God? To pray with your eyes open and be smart. To say, Lord, again, let's do a prayer right now. Lord, I don't understand what's happening right now. I pray for the souls of the lives of the babies that have been terminated in there. I pray for the unwanted mothers who have made this decision to terminate a life. Oh, policeman, come stop talking. What are you doing? I'm standing out here waiting for someone. But again, if you're standing there, Lord, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm silently praying, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble. I firmly believe that God says, go forth, do what you need to do, but for goodness sake, be smart about it. Be smart about it. There is massive concerns about silencing. And as we talked about before with the re-education of Jordan Peterson, if you haven't seen that episode, I'll put some links in for you folks. Go and check that out. But the silencing of Jordan Peterson, the re-education of Dr. Jordan Peterson has been a hot topic sort of the last 6 months. And it is crucially important that we continue to stand up and to speak out and to do what we need to do, but to do it in the right way. In the middle of the commercial break, I was having a conversation with my friend, a dear friend of mine from theological college, and I informed him, I've already been, sort of told, your opinion could land you in jail. If you're starting to arrest people for opinions and thoughts and ideas, where does that end? That's why Starmer's government needs to go. That's why I firmly believe that the next government in should be Nigel Farage. Because folks, like it or not, we have got to get back to a place of some stability where values and morals and ethics and the family are actually being put forward, where we're not just allowing every single person into the country, making it harder for younger people to get houses, to get people to into jobs, to benefits, to take care of our own. We can't take care of the world, folks, and guess what's happening? All of the rich folk are leaving the UK. Then what are you going to do? You really going to sit there if you're working for the NHS and you're struggling for money already? And the NHS says, right, okay, well, the government says to support the new immigrants that have come in of 2025, the new immigrants, the new class. We're going to take 1/3 of your salary. How would you feel then? Some of you would say, well, it's fine, right? Okay, well, what about when it gets to half? What about we'll take 1/3 of your salary to support immigration. We'll take 1/3 of your salary in taxes because it's the only way, because now we've lost all the big players, money players here in the UK. Then what are you going to do? Are you really going to be for immigration? Or are you going to say, well, hang on a second, maybe we need to look at this. Maybe we need to really, really look at what's going on and what's happening. What about your grandmother, your grandfather, that half of their pension, is it right that half of their pension then should go to funding immigration and policing it? That known terrorists are coming over into our country. The ISIS members were bussed all over the United States several years ago in their hundreds and thousands. When you are being silenced and you're being arrested for your words and you're being arrested for your prayers, it's exactly what the Bible said would happen. Go to Matthew 24. Don't be surprised when this happens. Don't be surprised, Jesus says, when these things are going on, because they have to. As I said last week, Trump being in office buys us a little bit of time. Buys us a little bit of time. Buys us 4 years. And hopefully it's 4 years for the leftist culture and the rightist culture to come together and say, you know what, rather than looking at all the things that divide us, how about we look at what unites us? Can we unite over art? Can we unite over music? Can we unite over theater? Yes, right, brilliant. Okay, can we then start building a world that actually benefits everybody? Rather than this divisive state, as Abraham Lincoln said, that was going to kill everybody. It will be the death of humanity when political parties reign supreme. What are they doing? People say, oh, you know, the Bible's just not good for anything. Have you ever actually read it? No, of course you haven't. Of course you haven't, because you sit there and again develop opinions based upon what you've heard some other clowns say. Hey, someone that's actually read this cover to cover many, many times. As I have done with many spiritual texts and many spiritual books. You can thank Alan Watts for that, one of the greatest spiritual teachers on the face of the planet. Folks, as I said many times before, if we do not get sorted out as a human race and stop looking at what divides us, we will not survive We will not survive. It's been said by many scientists that we've 100 years left, max, if we continue going. You know what would have happened if Harris had got in? The entire left of our world, the entire Western world, would have been leftist. You would have had drag queens reigning supreme. You would have had woke culture reigning supreme, abortion reigning supreme. They're not bothered or interested in values and ethics and morals that benefit everybody. No, they're interested in actually what's benefiting themselves. And as we've seen so many times with people that are coming on different shows and saying, if the left actually listens to what the right is saying, they'll realize that actually maybe we're trying to care for you. Maybe we're actually trying to take care of you. Maybe we're trying to speak sense into you, which is why you've got so many people going around college campuses. We're out of time, folks, but maybe that's a fitting note to end on. I didn't know what I was going to speak on today. There's been many weird and wonderful things that have come along this past week. Some that have been really concerning, that I really was very, very close to speaking on this week. But I didn't feel it appropriate. But it seems, hopefully, that I've done my job this week. And I hope I have. If I have, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Share this with your friends, because this could be the very thing they need to hear in their hour of struggle to try and make sense of the world and all that's going on. And we'll end on a high note, I think, more than anything, because I think it's so important to end on a high note. We're not going to end on a woman shaving her head in protest to Donald Trump. We're not going to end on a young girl having no idea what the heck she's talking about. Several young girls, what she's talking about. We're going to end on the very place that we started, which is with Mr. Biden and Mr. Trump doing a what if, shaking hands and parting as friends. Take care, folks. We'll see you.